What's happening, everybody? My name is Julius.
I'm Brian.
Brian, what are we going to be doing today? What are you excited to do finally today?
Well, folks, today we are actually going on ahead with a Halloween marathon.
A Halloween marathon talking about separate, different, unique horror films. Because this is obviously part of the 31 more days of horror. Why'd I say it like that? I sound like
Of horror.
a horror.
You sound like a Boston person.
Strudel.
No offense to our Boston viewers.
Yeah, I would love some Boston viewers up in there.
Yeah,
calling me
I think
a bitch.
we have one.
Call me a pussy.
Yeah, we call it. Yeah.
Brian, first and foremost, I would like to know, what do you think about horror? I know you love horror, but what exactly draws you to it as a genre of film?
Of course, that's actually a very important question right there, Julius.
Your credentials.
My credentials, of course. Actually, I grew up with horror a lot. My grandma and I watched a lot of horror films, and I actually written 3 horror films as a kid. They were pretty bad, but you can actually check them out. They're really funny.
Yeah.
It's just me and my friends playing with our Nerf guns and shooting at other kids with zombie paint.
Shooting at toddlers?
Yes, indeed.
You're shooting at toddlers.
Is
that the horrific area?
And the elderly.
And the elderly.
Too.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
don't forget.
So you're not an ageist. You just go after everyone. You want to see the world burn.
I'm an equal opportunist.
Yeah, the sequel is about a gender reveal party.
I blow up the world. It's a boy, everyone.
Yeah. So horror, obviously, it means a lot to you. What was the movie that really got you invested within this genre?
I would say the movie that first got me interested was actually Children of the Corn. I watched it with my great-grandmother when I was 8 years old. But I think my favorite horror movie over the years has been The Thing.
Oh, yeah. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah. The Thing.
Prosthetics. What was his name? Kurt Russell. Antarctica. And flamethrowers. And then they made that, I think it's a prequel they made.
Yes,
a couple years ago.
2011, The Thing, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit, I didn't see it, but it was a bit confusing because...
Yeah, it was a bit lackluster. There was not as much practicals. Yeah, I did. Actually, there's a whole bunch of things saying how they made the prequel to be similar to the original, but then when they showed it to the executives, they didn't like it and they wanted CG. And instead of us actually, the folks learning about the aliens and what the thing came from, we just got a CG giant monster.
I'm not going to say it again because the original is not that. But do you consider, and this will be like a little sidestep, but do you consider CGI to be the equivalent of what practical effects were back, when movies were really getting into those visual effects? You had Ray Harryhausen with things like Jason and the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans. You had the Star Wars films where they had the models and, they had their own form, quote unquote, of CG. Do you think it's an equivalent and that it's getting too much hate and that people really just are so hog-tied to the old ways? What do you think about that?
I think a lot of people are hogtied in the old ways. I mean, I won't lie, I am too. I think that there's more of an art form with it. I think CG of its own respectable area is also very important too, in some areas where you have to match up some things. Yeah. I just personally, there's a lot of mistakes
Superman's
that
lips. Superman's lip.
Superman's lip, yeah, very necessary, But
research.
Mary.
Hey, Lois.
Lois.
Do you bleed?
But I would say when you need touch-up, CGI is very important. But until then, practical is very much the way to go. I think it's a much more pure art form, and I think that's what film's about. Making art with pureness and amazingness for the folks who watch it.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely. I appreciate both art forms, and I think they're utilized best when they're mixed together, Something like, what's a recent example? Like Star Wars The Force Awakens, right? Or even The Last Jedi, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but you see the effect of Yoda, you know, when Yoda comes back and it is actually a puppet, and they do add
very fun.
Yeah, they add the glow to it to kind of update its look, but keeping to that original design. And you know, I think there's a middle ground.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
So aside from that bullshit, horror. By the way, you know what's horrific to me?
What's horrific?
You being late.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes,
I mean, Jesus. Late. But some short context for everyone. We were supposed to do this at 2. It is now 3.
Yes, I went shooting this morning. I took my grandma to go get her gun license. So
that's the thing about I used to get really bothered when someone was late to like a meeting for record pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID,
yes.
I used to get really bothered, like, oh, this guy's late. And I always went to the worst extreme. Over time, I've kind of let loose because I'm thinking, man, what if something happened to them? What if they got in an accident? What if they, died? I hope not. For you, it's the opposite. You were too busy shooting people, taking lives, and now I'm frightened. I don't want to run the risk of inviting you to another podcast and you being late because I might get angry, and in response, you might shoot me. More so than you actually want to shoot me, because we all know you want to shoot me. Hey, Julius, why don't you come to my birthday? We're gonna go shooting in the woods. We're gonna go shooting in the woods. I have to establish my dominance with you, Julius.
No, that is not true, folks.
This is the sentence.
I'm a very responsible person.
You're responsible with your own. This was psychological warfare. It's like, no, you're very good at it. It's like Dune. You're the Baron, dude, and here I am, the Duke.
I'm so sorry. Now, folks, what happened was I sent a message, and on my way to the mountains, my iPhone did not send it correctly. So when I got back from the mountains, by the time when I told Julius I would be back home, it finally got sent.
Yeah.
I did apologize to Julius. I meant to do this, but then we had a lot of things with my health situation. But now today we're ready to talk about these amazing films. We're here to talk about horror culture, and I'm ready. I'm prepared. Let's do this, folks.
Well, I know that when you looked down at your iPhone and you saw there was no internet connection, like, oh shit, I can't connect to Julius, right? I know that you were relieved because you had downloaded previously your episode of Joe Rogan Experience, going into the woods and shooting. The disciple awaits.
Oh my god!
But you're right. Let's not focus on the past. 30 minutes ago.
Let's move on to the future.
The future. Horror. It's October, Brian. Get with it.
It is. It's my birthday month.
It's my birthday month too. High five.
It's our birthday month. High five.
I'm gonna kill you. The first one we're gonna
get you first.
It's like Chris Griffin in a Family Guy. You're gonna die in there. Okay, the first one we're gonna take care of is The Host.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Bong Joon-ho, who is a recent Oscar winner for The Parasite, which I still have yet to watch. I'm going to watch it with Angel once COVID's done. We were supposed to do it before the Oscars.
It's a very great film.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to show it to me. And from what I've seen in The Host and some of Train to Busan, which is another one of this director's films, I can't wait.
When you guys do that, invite me over and stuff.
I will
hook up my Hulu account and stuff.
I will invite you, but I will not give you the correct address.
Of course.
For the fear of you bringing your shotgun.
Of course. I don't own any, but all right.
Doesn't matter.
Of course.
What's the one you're a bolt action?
Actually, I just found out today it's illegal for me to own any gun.
Oh, thank God. I bought myself a couple extra years.
Oh my God, I swear.
So,
right, continuing
the host,
the Ho, Bong Joon-ho. No, Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, the Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
This guy is one hell of a director. He's done Snowpiercer. He's done Parasite, Okja. He did do Train to Busan, right?
I believe.
Or was that someone else?
Yeah, I think that might be someone else.
Okay.
I do know that he tried making like a really interesting science fiction sort of like similar to Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro kind of film. Yeah. It wasn't like the best, but it was pretty good.
Was it Okja?
I believe that was
on Netflix, right?
On Netflix, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one has Jake Gyllenhaal in it, right?
It does. Yeah.
He's in it. I have to watch that. I remember when it was coming out, and I remember it being kind of looking weird, and I was down, but I never got to it.
Yeah.
So this movie came out 2006. It's a monster film set in Korea. Really crazy cool. So do you want to tell the people what this movie is about?
Of course, folks. It's plain and simple. It's about pollution. It's basically an American scientist team along
Always
with
the Americans.
Yes, it was us. Blame us for everything.
It was Herschel from The Walking Dead.
It actually was, yeah.
Don't worry, just pour it out.
Just pour it
down the ocean.
The ocean. So it's the story is about pollution, about how his team in Korea, an American scientist and a Korean scientist, are studying some new factors, and I believe it was in how to eliminate waste and stuff.
Yeah, and then they wasted.
Yeah, they wasted it, and they put it down the sink. It then mixed with molecules of a fish and a tadpole, creating, hence, the host, affecting and attacking nearby cities, nearby Bay areas in Korea, and then we meet our protagonist.
Who's his father, single father. He has
single father with his daughter.
They run a little crappy, food stand near where tourists and families come to picnic, near this Bay Area that Brian is talking about. And just out of nowhere, this monster, the sea monster, comes and starts jumping and taking people and eating people. And what happens is that the daughter of the father is taken, and from then on, you get this crazy, weird horror adventure for a family drama also, where the family comes in trying to save this little girl. So Brian, when did you watch this?
Well, I watched it by myself when I was a little bit younger, when I was around 9 years old, but then I forgot about it.
So 5 seconds ago?
Right. No, but my family wanted to watch it again with me because they never saw it before, and they really loved Parasite. So I showed them it, but I believe it was last year. Yeah. So it's an amazing film. It's a lot of comedic effect. There's a lot of emotion within here, and we're going to get – well, I don't know if you want to explain the ending to them.
We can get to that a bit later.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, I do like what you said about the comedic overtones in the film, because it's very odd how humor is put within the film, because it's balancing itself with these really dark moments that are very I mean, this is one of the most disturbing films in our lineup. In the whole month of videos that we're going to do, I feel like this is one of the most disturbing films.
Extremely.
Yeah, mainly because of the social themes that are within it. The way that this criticizes government and their handling of tragedy. I mean, you're exactly right when it comes to pollution. I mean, look what's going on within the southern area.
We can see that someone's having a boy, I guess.
I mean, yeah. This shit is crazy disturbing. There are amazing scenes that are just filled with dread, but then there are moments where the family comes together to just have a good a nice sweet moment amongst all the tragedy while they're looking for their daughter. So when you first watched this, how did it differ itself from a lot of other horror films for you, and also establish the types of horror films you were watching mainly at that time?
Well, I'm sort of those people where I want to just watch all different types of genres of horror, but all at once, because sometimes I don't have enough time to just go watch Annabelle one week and then The Descent the other. But this film was really funny. I loved it. It was one of the most funniest horror films ever. Also very sad, very real. And I hate it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I hate it when people are like, "Oh, this is a very realistic horror film," but this is kind of realistic, in the sense of that. I mean, of course, a monster can't just appear from out of the ocean, but who knows? But the government does
Loch
like to
Ness
waste,
Monster, bro.
The Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, But no, it's very much a criticism on how governments do handle pollution and do handle a lot of waste within our society. And even then, when people who are affected by that are then treated like they're trash, and so society wants to block them off and then just execute them, which I found like that was a major, huge undertone within the film, how the host itself isn't really a creature, but in real life it's sort of just some disease or something, right? And then the government is locking these people and then just, executing them in safety.
Doing experimentation on them.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, the monster was not the disturbing part of this film. It was definitely the government.
The government, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were, goddamn, the shit they were doing. There's that one scene where everyone's in the church or something. They're in a room together where they're allowed to mourn. There are pictures of family who died, and you hear just this over ambiance of crying and despair, and then there's that one government official who comes in with the hazmat suit on.
Hazmat suit, yeah.
And everyone's just looking at him like, what the hell, why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
And it's frightening, to look. It's I'm getting, if you were here, you could feel the hairs raise up on my legs. I don't know why you're touching my legs in the first place.
I don't know why I'm touching your legs, but yeah, I guess.
It's happening right now where I'm just thinking about it, and it's creepy,
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
But it's beautiful at the same time, the way that this was conveyed within film. I don't know if this was looked at for any awards at the time. I sincerely hope that it was. I know that Parasite, it was his first, I mean, obviously, it's his first Oscar win.
First Oscar winning, yeah.
But he should have gotten that shit back then with the host, dude.
He should have gotten it for every single one of his films. Snowpiercer is amazing. All of his films always have something that talks about more or less about psychological stuff. And also, they always have something that is supposed to be scary, right? With Snowpiercer, it's the main guy. But even then, he's not even scary. I would say it's the people who believe in him are the most scariest aspect, And then with the host, it's the government.
Yeah. And also the media. The way that was turned against that family, like the whole world is crashing upon them because now these people are wanted, and no one knows exactly what's happening. But I got to tell you, one of the things that really just kept me with it, like entranced in the film, was the cinematography. I mean, this is a beautiful looking film. This is possibly, with The Descent, one of the most striking films that you could just watch without any music on, without any dialogue or subtitle, or just looking at it. It's beautifully composed. The color is really just significant. How did you feel about the look of the film, Brian?
Well, real quick, I will say I'm gonna have to put off my camera right now, but I will be talking right now. So,
okay,
folks, you won't be able to see my
what's weird is, I mean,
beautiful face. I guess
you're gonna turn off the camera on the cinematography portion of the discussion.
I know I am. I'm not gonna lie, love the cinematography. When we do talk about the ending part, it's very beautifully done. There's, I'm just gonna spoil a little, not a whole lot.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
But I will say it's very amazing how they sort of mix the aspect of like when they're about to bomb them, right? When they're about to release what was it? Not hydrogen bomb. It was chemical.
Which part?
The part where the very end when they kill the host. When the government's about to release the. I forgot. We used it in Vietnam. What was it called again?
Oh, napalm.
When they're about to release napalm, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just some amazing scene, like the destruction that's going on, the people who are outpouring against the government, and at the same time, this family, and you feel like even though that all this is going on in the world, right, you're really focused on this family because you're so intertwined with them, the camera angles and the emotion, the music, everything is pointed towards this man and his little girl and the decision that's going to probably save both of them or even one of them.
It's eerie. It's very eerie, just the way that we've been harping on the government, but when you also look at the people's response saying that this is not enough, and it reminds you of things going on within America right now. I mean, watch this right now, and you'll be astounded as to how a movie from 2006 can really, it could have been made and released today. You see things going on within America, China. It's really staggering. And there's no monster. No actual four-legged tail monster, at least.
Maybe. Who knows? He might be out there.
That's true. I mean, we don't. We saw how they were, taking cameras and they had the guards everywhere and shit.
Exactly.
This movie, I think, has an incredible sound to it. Like I mentioned earlier with that scene where you hear all these people crying and and just it really does help. Also, the sounds of the settings. You know, a lot of this movie is set within sewers, and you hear the monster in the distance, up close. You hear the people running and screaming in the background. It really is a beautifully technical film. You know, a horror movie that really pushes the technical aspect and the creative, or the technique, I guess. You know, what do you think, Brian? If you're still there.
Yes, honest. No, I feel the same thing. I'm actually going to spoil this again. When the girl does get, I don't want to spoil it, but it's just so hard because this is one of my most favorite, like, set pieces for sound, visuals, and for the character itself. When the girl gets taken by the host, right? She's stuck in this, like, confined space all by herself. There's, like, bones, there's dead bodies and stuff. She's in the sewers, and she feels alone, and she feels like she's going to die, and she still has this faith that her father will come get her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then finally when the host comes back, brings the other little boy, it sort of shows that she's maturing enough through this whole horrible landscape that she's in, this horrible situation, that she has to take care of herself and this little kid and make sure that they both live.
Yeah, absolutely. And those were some of the most endearing moments of the film, where those kids who don't know each other get to understand each other in a very traumatic and horrific way. You know, just trying to survive in the dungeon of this monster, you know, and their bone. I mean, the set dressing in this film is very effective. You know, you see gore and the remains of eaten people all over the place. There are the laboratories where our main character, the father, is just wrapped up, and he's held prisoner. He's held hostage, essentially, and being worked on. It's pretty good use of the environment, you know, to make this really dreadful feeling throughout the whole film, you know?
Yes. No, yeah, I'm here. I was just kind of confused. I was also gonna say there's sort of a contradiction. I mean, not contradiction. There's a very weird similarity that I noticed when rewatching it. But you know how within the film, you know how people always say, like, oh, the kids are better than us, than grown-ups and stuff, because kids don't really have a whole lot of things about, like, being raised and sort of, like, just having some
or
sort
agendas
of, like,
or shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's that scene with this little girl, right, taking care of some little random boy that she doesn't know, right, stuck in this horrible situation. But then the scenes prior, we see how the adults are willing to close up on, like, a bunch of people and willing to take care of themselves, and not other people who are being attacked, with people either being eaten by the host or just people being run into by the host, with that scene where all those people lock themselves accidentally within
in that little trailer.
In the trailer, yep.
That's one of the most disturbing parts of the film, for sure. You know, I mean, all these. So for people who haven't seen the movie, there's a scene where the monster first shows up at the harbor, where people are picnicking and people are running, you know, to get away, and some people run into this trailer, and in this trailer on the other side to hide. They can't get out. It's locked up from the other side. And then the host, this monster, comes in, and you don't see it, but you hear the sound of these people being eaten, tortured, decimated, and you see a shot where it's from the other side, the locked area, but the doors are being just pushed and pushed and pushed, and you see hands, bloody hands, creeping out from the crease of the doors, and they're begging and they're screaming. And this guy, the main character, the dad, he goes and helps them along with the standard white guy, who's like, I gotta help them.
Standard American white guy just from Korea.
The dude who's definitely going on the CW.
I'm gonna say the dude who looked a lot like Freddie Prinze Jr.'s. What was it? What's his name again? Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I was thinking from the first Scary Movie. With the boyfriend of the hoe, you know?
Yeah.
The guy who beat up Sydney. Enough, Sin! Enough! Like, enough. I was thinking him. But those two, they go free them, and all these people just pour out, and they're completely dressed in blood. And it's just a staggering look. I mean, just imagine that, you know? Jesus, Brian, what is your favorite part of the film? Favorite scene, favorite aspect of it, favorite performance? What do you love about this film?
All right, let me go and list. Favorite performance, obviously. All right, I'm one of
The
those
dad.
people. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna go with the girl.
Oh, the little girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like sometimes child actors, I don't know. Sometimes child actors are a hit or miss when it comes to films and stuff like that. She did an amazing scene, in my opinion.
She did great.
I feel really sad for the ending, and I think that's what kind of makes me feel like she did an amazing job. Was just the ending.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was rooting for her this entire time, and then it just hits you, and you feel like you want to cry. But then the ending scene, that is my favorite scene. The unknown.
Okay. Yeah.
Where father with the random little boy, he takes care of him. It's sort of like his second chance at life.
Being a father.
Yeah, of him being a father and stuff like that. He's now all alone because we don't know what really happens to his brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
They could be doing their own things. They could be dead too. Who knows? Or in the hospital. And he's sort of by himself with the little boy. And then they hear something through the snow, right? I believe that's when it was during wintertime.
Mm-hmm. It was during wintertime, and they're in the middle of this plain area where they have a new little food shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was just so beautiful. There's just some things about landscapes, about how dark, snowy places are so beautiful. And then like almost misty, foggy woods are also amazing. But it was just so perfect to sort of seem like it's not even over. Like, the host is over, but there's still problems out there, and they're still unknown to be out there. And sometimes it depends on, are you the type of person to stay home and protect yourself, or are you willing to go out there and protect other people?
Yeah, Brian's waiting for that sequel. The Host 2. Attack of the Clones!
I would love the Attack of the Hosts.
Attack of the Host Clones! Yeah, that's completely valid. And I actually, for me, when I think of the shots of the Host, that last one is the first one that I think of. The very last shot of the movie is one that I think of all the time when it comes to that movie, just because it's so beautiful. For me, my favorite performance is definitely Dad. He puts everything into it. That actor is incredible.
Oh, he's amazing.
Incredible. And I know he's the main character, or the main actor in the Parasite.
Parasite, yep. And he was also, I believe, in Snowpiercer.
Oh, was he in Snowpiercer?
I believe he plays the TNT guy, I believe.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I watched Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
I like Snowpiercer a lot. There's actually a theory that Snowpiercer is a secret.
Oh my god, yeah, it's a sequel to
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
And I'm down with it. Let's go. Let's go.
Know, every time when I watch it, I'm like, Grandma, this is Willy Wonka Part 2.
Yeah, why would Charlie Bucket be like, invest in chocolate? I'm investing for the apocalypse, bitch. I don't care. But yeah, that main actor from all these films, he's incredible in this film. I need to see more movies with him. I hope that he gets more work within the United States, because he can be easily a leading man within. Put him in a Nolan film. Put him in a Denis Villeneuve film. This dude will chop it up. He will chop it up, and he doesn't even need to speak English. But I keep on calling him Bong Joon-ho. Bong Joon-ho made such an endearing speech at the Oscars this past Oscar, where he's talking about how great films are being missed because they have subtitles. And I feel like this is one of those movies that needs more attention in terms of horror, in terms of film, modern film. And this dude, he's a monster. He's the host.
Oh, yeah.
He's the host, essentially, for film. Yeah. You know what I mean? So are you coming back? Are you ever coming back to my visual? Just because I need to see.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm actually almost done with the last sandwich.
Well, you need. Oh God.
I'm so sorry, folks. I haven't
You're the host in that
I haven't ate food ever since 9 o'clock, and it's 3. It's almost about to be 4, so I'm just eating
food
lunch.
Until that little girl who I took in the sewer.
That little girl in the sewers.
I tried hunting within the woods, but I couldn't shoot a damn thing.
I tried hunting, but it failed.
Here is the movie question, Brian. Are you ready?
Yep.
Need another bite. What specifically is frightening when a family is implemented in a horror movie? Since I know family is a very big thing for you. You know, you care about your family, obviously.
I do, yeah.
You're getting guns for your family, obviously. You know, you want to
Yes,
you want to defend them. You know, in the way that the characters, they work extra hard to defend the little girl in this. So, what about that is terrifying to you?
I know that
the sandwich. Not enough sandwiches for the family.
No, I know that sometimes people have a hard time with like family relationships within movies. Like sometimes people are like, "Oh, it's just a cop out." Like, "Oh, I'm willing to kill the entire world for my daughter." And I know that there's some complaints with some people, but
or John Wick going after people for his dog.
Wick for his dog, yeah. For me, I think losing family is more scary than losing a friend when it comes to a movie aspect.
I see.
I mean, in real life, it's
my
totally
chances are very slim, aren't they?
No,
for you, huh?
No, I'm so sorry. No,
I would let you drown if it were you in Alaska.
I mean, I would.
You piece of shit.
She's 5.
I'm 5. I got a pituitary disorder. Come on.
No, I think family invokes more things than with friendships in the sense of that. Because you know how some people are always like, especially your family, like friends are always coming by. Sometimes you make good friends, sometimes you make bad friends, and it just really happens. But family is something that you stick with. Family is something that you always come back to on the holidays or just the regular days. Family. And I think it's more scary to see family like get hurt in a movie because you feel like that's emotion and you feel like a connection to that. Well, versus if you watch a regular horror film and it's like friends or even like jocks and bullies, you don't really have a major connection. You might have a connection to one character, but then even as that character, you feel like, oh, I don't give a damn about any of these other characters. But with family, everyone has a family, and even when people don't have families, you still have that sense of a familial bond, and it feels like if you have that person in real life get hurt, you would feel like you would go through the ends of the earth to protect them.
Yeah,
and
beautifully said.
And it worked well with this film.
Absolutely, it works well when it works well. Obviously, you know, there are some movies where
it works well when it works well.
Yeah, you know, even when a movie has a family unit that's kind of insufferable, if it's done well where you understand why these people are the way they are, like in The Host, you know, you get why these characters went down the paths that they did, and they work really not well together, you know, in trying to find the daughter. It makes sense, and it becomes even more tragic, you know, to watch like a horror movie in that context. A recent horror movie that used the family aspect in a pretty good way, I think, probably more comedic than even The Host, is something like Krampus. I don't know if you saw that.
I actually did. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fun little horror movie directed by the same director of Trick or Treat, and it's a holiday movie, so it makes sense that family is there. But almost everyone in that family is just a terrible, you know, like just really awful person. It's like if Home Alone were a family horror film.
So everyone except for the dog and the grandma.
Yeah, no, the grandma was cool. She knew what was up. But you know, and whenever family is implemented in a way that, oh yeah, these relationships are stressed, they are not healthy, but there is also that overburden of, well, this is all you got in the end, right? Even if the person is kind of a shithead, you don't give up on family, right? It's crazy, you know, when a killer or a monster comes into that mix, and you see how people actually do work, you know, whether family really does mean something to them in the end or not. And I think those are the best horror films, when it gets you questioning that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
See, if they had a gun in The Host. Oh wait, they did.
If they did have a gun, they had a gun and a bow.
If they had a gun in my sandwich,
if they had a sandwich, maybe they would.
maybe they'd live. Well, there he is, folks.
My beautiful face is back.
What kind of sandwich was it, Brian? Little girl?
It was a meatball sandwich.
Okay, it makes sense why you turned off the camera. Okay, are you ready for the next film, Brian?
Indeed, I am. Real quick, let me just take a little swig of my Arizona license tea.
I'm too good for Snapple. The GOAT Podcast is proof you don't have to look any further for movie news, reviews, trailer reactions, or special discussions. Subscribe, get notified about what's going on, and I promise you'll be entertained by our daily content on YouTube. If you want more, we're on Twitter at GOAT Film Podcast, Instagram The GOAT Podcast, and the GOAT Movie Group on Facebook. Get connected with us, see what's happening, and make sure to love it while you're doing so.